Hi, this is John Welker with Jerome Cerny Architects. This is video number 6 in a series of YouTube videos I'm doing on Graphisoft's ArchiCAD and how to get started with ArchiCAD right out of the box. This video is going to go over some of the corrections to the first 5 videos, just some corrections needed on some parts of the plan, and then give you a little sneak preview of what's coming up after that. So we'll start with opening up ArchiCAD and the floor plan here. One of the problems that we had was the staircase was not showing up correctly on the first floor. Actually, we're going to go right here and take that to first floor current and then set that for 0 as far as the base of the staircase. Set that for, I believe, is showing all stories, and now it should show up on the second floor, and it does. And we want to check the roof plan, and it's not there. That's good. Okay, so we have the stair showing correctly. The next item is this saddle right back here. We just want to change it up here. We have it set for shakes random. We really want that to be the roof standing seam like the other one is, and so we've got that correct. And I don't think that shows up in the second floor. That was an issue, but it's not. Okay. And we'll stay right here on the second floor. Another item was this wall coming together here, not being shown correctly. And this has to do with the strength of materials in Graphisoft. Let me just show you what we'll highlight that wall, and we're going to highlight this wall. And we'll go up to open up a toolbar here called Attributes. It's a handy little one to keep open, and that's it right up here. It just jumped right up here. The icon that we're looking for is the building materials. You'll see why here with those 2 walls highlighted. We click on that, and if you click on this icon, if you click on here, you just get everything in a certain order, and if you click here, you get what's currently being shown. In other words, the materials that make up these 2 walls are shown here, and they have their strengths, and that's what I mean by it's called intersection priority right here. And airspace is set for 0, and brick is set for 700. So that brick is going through the stucco, the sheathing, this wall, and this, and we want it to stop really at that sheathing. So this wall sheathing here, which I would believe is this wall sheathing right here, we need to have that a little stronger than 700. So let's just set that so it's stronger than brick. So let's set that for 710. Okay, and we click OK, and you see how that's then stopped that wall and won't allow it to go past that sheathing. And this is the correct setup for putting that together. Now, as far as this wall and this wall connecting as it should, what we want to do here is we need to look at those settings, and this wall here needs to be set a little stronger than that sheathing there. That sheathing now being 710, so the wood frame there, which is this, needs to be set for, let's say, 715, and say OK, and now that's shown correctly. So we've got both sides have changed accordingly, and that now looks the way it's supposed to look. Another little cleanup item is this situation where we have 3 walls coming together, and what we have to do here is we have to change the side that the reference line is on. So this one's on the correct side. This wall, which normally I have all my exterior walls always have the reference line on the outside of the wall. In this case, we're going to change that to the inside, and we do that by going over to Edit, down to Reference Line in Plane, modify the wall reference line, and then go here and put it on the inside face. And so that does that. These walls, and then I want to join them, do an automatic join, and it's shown now correctly. So that happens in a couple certain circumstances. If you hit a wall in the mid range of it, not a problem. And of course, when all the walls are the same, that's not a problem. But this is the kind of situation you see, and we'll see it down here. In this particular case, looks like this one's was pretty close, but not quite. I think what we'll do here is we'll flip both of these over and say edit, reference line, modify them, put it on the inside. And then what we want is that one's correct and that one's correct. So we'll highlight all of them and see if we... Okay, we got them all set up so that they're now connected. And that's by putting the reference lines on the two outside walls on the inside faces, and that one there and that one there, and then that is shown correctly. So a lot of times you just have to continue to experiment with those and keep joining them, and you'll finally find the order in which to do that. And we've got all that. So I think we're ready to go to our front elevation. And what we're going to want to do, or a design thing that I want to do here on this elevation, is I want to have a soldier course, a stack bond course running all the way down here on either side of these windows and in between them. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to probably fatten that window up to equal that and put that in there as well. Now, how I do this is I go to a morph tool, and I will, in 3D, I'm going to draw or model a brick course that will come down here like this. So we'll go to 3D, quickly do that, just go into F3 and zoom out, and let's look at our front elevation here. I'm going to go up there and find that corner point and click on it, and I'd come down here to the bottom. I want to take it all the way to the top of foundation. The first dimension I'm put in is going to be 7 5/8 inches, so 7.625 inches, and then the length's already calculated for me because I did that graphically. And then I'm going to take that and go to the settings. Actually, we'll just open up the settings totally and go to the surfaces, and we're going to put in a stack bond and say OK, and then you'll see the stack bond. Now what you see is just you know, a surface. I'm going to make that an inch thick, so I'm going to click on that. That's a little pet palette comes up. I'm going to click on the stretch tool. I'm just going to pull that out arbitrarily and type in 1 inch, and it'll set that 1 inch thick, as you can see on the wall. Now that stack bond isn't aligned correctly, so what I'm going to do is click on that morph. I'm going to go up here to design and align 3D texture, and I'm going to set a new origin and click on that. I'm going to go down to the bottom corner here and click on that. Now that doesn't quite line up with the brick that I have, so I think I will actually set that again, align 3D texture, and I'm going to set the origin and just kind of eyeball it for about right there, and that's pretty close. So I've got that, and I'm looking at the color. Not that on the 3D I'm not that worried about for the time being. I think we'll just leave it go. But I would ideally like to probably make it look more like the color that's up in here, or change these to make it look like the brick, but we won't get into that at the moment. Let's what we will do is let's get all of them put in here, and how I'll do that is just I'm gonna Right click on this left side, that's right click, and I'm going to go move, multiply, and I'm going to want 3 of these, and they're going to be incremental. So I'm going to just bring this first one over to this point here, and then it'll put in the others for me. I'll say OK, and then click on that point, and you see I've got 3 coming along. And now I'm going to just try to find a hold down the shift key and a corner that I want to align with, and I think that should be that one right there. And we'll keep this down at this level, and that should give those and put those in correctly. Looks like close. All right, now it looks like my window sills might be a little off. What we'll do is we'll go to the first floor plan, and we're going to come down here and see if in fact, and we'll do it under the permit set, we're going to see if in fact these are set. We're going to use the M tool and see if this is 7 5/8, and it's not. Okay, so that's one of the issues. So I need to make that 7 5/8, and we'll do that M tool there and see what we have there. We have 6 1/8. Is that correct? 6 1/8. 6 1/2. So both of them are goofed up. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that window and we're going to go Control D and move that over 1 1/8. D 1.125. Because again, what I'm looking for is 7 5/8 inches there. M tool to check it. 7 5/8. That's what I want over here. M tool. 7 5/8. So that's 1 1/2 inches. We have to move that one. And that was assuming, and I'm pretty sure I had that on center of the wall. Control D, and this is 1.5 inches. Just to check it, M tool. There we go, 7 5/8. Okay, so now you can see our morphs are a little off, and what we'll do is we'll just move those here. We can go Control D, and we'll move the whole morph. You have to be careful. You don't want to just click on an edge of a morph because you start pulling it. You're pulling it just from that one corner. So important to do the Control D, and that way you move the entire morph. All right, so all right. And for some reason, that's not looking all that right either. Okay. All right, let's just check and see what we've got going on here. That morph should be 7 5/8. It is. So we've got something screwed up in terms of this overall. That's 8 inches. So we want to bring this back. Control D, 3/8 of an inch. Then that aligns correctly. And this morph, Control D, pull that in there like so. We'll go back to our elevation, and it generates it, and there we go. So that looks good. You know, and if we went to our front elevation, which I think is our south elevation, we'd see that that's lining up nicely as well, because that's just a duplicate of that. So let's go back to the front elevation, and what I want to do here is I want to come up here to these windows, and as you can see, we've got to move those windows as well because they were lined up down below. We can align them right here just by taking that brick mold point and doing a Control D over to the edge of that morph. And the same thing over here, Control D. Like I said, a lot of times you don't have to hit the Control D to drag something, but I always like to just get in that habit, because then I'm not going back and forth sometimes when I wanted to drag something and it just dragged a point instead of the entire, unit. Again, you'll learn some of those things along the way. And it looks like all of these aren't tall enough. So what we're going to do is we can't just drag these edges. We want to drag the whole thing. So we're dragging all of them. And we're going to line them. And now they're not going to be aligned down below here. And with our funky little line that we've got going on, we can't quite see that. But if we go to 3D and again hit F3, we can just spin it around here a little bit and look to see that on all of these they just need to be pulled down a little bit. So we'll click here in the stretch tool and we'll see if we can find that edge, and that's right there, and we'll pull that one down. We'll just look to match it with this one. Same thing with this one. I'm not holding the shift key or anything to do that. It just stretches it in the plane, and I'm just running over with my mouse and finding that corner so that I get it all to match up. And we'll zoom back out, and those are all set. Now what I want to do is up top on these top windows, I want to put a soldier course on those, and I want to bring that soldier course across to the edge of that. So what we're going to do there is I'm going to highlight this window and open up its settings and go to the masonry arch, and on the arch under its settings, let's go back and look at those colors for a minute. That looks like we have white in there for, and oh, that's right, we don't have that turned on yet. Okay, so we're going to do straight arch, and you've seen me set these before, and we're going to set this exact here. So 3 5/8 and 7 5/8. I want 1 inch on the overhang. And then down here on that end one, I want 7 5/8 inches or 7.625 on both sides. And I'm going to say OK. And so that's given me that soldier course. And if you note, that soldier course, we haven't set that correctly yet, because it's giving us a funny looking I'm trying to find a hotspot of that window. Okay, right click on that, open up the window settings, go to that masonry arch and go to this setting, and we're going to go here. It shouldn't be on running bond, it should be on surface color, and this should be on light gray. I think if you remember, we were doing that before. And then that masonry arch pen, I want to set that to this black 10 millimeter. So that's right down here. And say OK. And now I've got it looking the way I want it to look, similar to what our roll lock is at our sill. Okay, so now what we can easily do is, that's what the window settings are set for right now. We can inject them into this window over here, find a hotspot for it. That's just, oh, that wasn't the hotspot, that's for sure. But now we brought the window back, and we can inject. Why the heck did that do that? That's crazy. Let's click off of that and try to suck up the settings for this window here. Okay, we got that. And we've got that. And we'll go ahead and take the center one. Seems like we're having better luck finding these hot spots down lower on them. Right click, open that up, go down to the masonry arch, turn it on, brick, 1/2 inch, And then we're going to leave these overhangs alone and just get this 7.625 set in correctly, and this 3.625 correctly, and the 1-inch overhang, and switch here to our colors and do surface color and do the light gray and do our pen. Click OK, and there we go, and that looks pretty good. So that worked out pretty nicely. What we'll do is, since we have that one, we're going to inject it into this middle one over here, and then the end ones, we're going to inject those into the end ones over here. Again, just easy to click those very quickly. And then this window here, we're going to want to make it wider to fit the same as this window. And if we go to the second floor and look at that, and look at the wall down, or the window down below, this is currently set using the center anchor point. So if we increase its size here, it's currently 2'6", and I think that's a 3-foot door plus 2 inches. That's 3'4". So we're going to change this up here to 3'4", and it should line up with the one down below. Let's just do a quick look at that. And it looks like it does. Trying to find an edge here that I could bring over a guideline. I don't know why that isn't reading that edge there. Guidelines are on. Just hit the L key. See if I can get one. Can't for some reason. Just not reading an edge there for, I don't know why. But we will see that shortly, because I'm going to take one of these and do a move, drag a copy. Now what you'll see here is I'm dragging it, and of course it's in the plane here, and this is the plane that's further back, but I'm going to line it up visually this way, and then do an F3 and go to 3D, and you see it's out here. I'm going to then drag it back to the wall, and I'm going to look at that corner as my corner that I'm going to relate to for the wall. I probably could get the edge of the wall too, but I get the back corner of that morph. I go Control D. Looks like I want Control D and then go to it, click on it, and then I pull it in that direction, and I come over there and I hit 90, so I'm good. And you'll see that that sets up. Well, I zoomed out a little too quickly, but actually it didn't. It set it back into the wall, so we want to come out. We know 1 inch, so we'll just pull it out and go D, 1 inch. Just set the other face to it. Okay, so we've got that one. Looks like we have a little sill conflict. What we're going to do here is, I think just right here in 3D, we're going to right click on it, move, drag a copy, and I'm going to go right back there and drag that over to here and put that in line with right where that brick hits the wall. And I think that'll be a good corner to align with, but we'll see. And then we'll do that again. In fact, we'll take 2 because they're going to be the same, and go move, drag a copy, and I will just take this outside corner, drag it over, hit my shift key, keep it in that direction, and look for what I think might be the right thing to line it up with. Okay, that looks correct. The windowsills look like we have some issues, and of course the windows have some issues. So let's take a look at what's going on there. These windows over in the garage don't have an overhang problem with their soldier course. So I'm going to suck up their settings and go over here and inject them into these windows and see if I can fix them. Just looking for a hot spot. There we go. And that did that, but actually what I think we have at issue here is our windows aren't properly set. We have that same 7 5/8. So I'm going to do a undo there. I'm going to go to the second floor plan, and we're going to probably see that problem that we had before with the other sets of windows. And I think that is true. So we're going to take that window and this morph, and the morph we're seeing is down below, so we can't select it. So what I'm going to do is go to 3D, and I'm going to select all of these morphs, and I'm going to set them with the floor plan and selection to all relevant stories. So now they're going to show up and be editable. What we were seeing was just the one down below that was ghosted out. So we're going to select that and the window, and we're going to say Control D, and we're going to drag this over. I can't see where that is, so I'm going to go back and Control D again and pull it in line with that. And now I've got that, I believe, set up correctly, and I'll bet you money this is 7 5/8 now, which it is. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with this one, and highlight it and go Control D, just pull it over so we can see where we're going, and align it like so. All right, terrific. So now we'll go down to the first floor and probably have maybe some issues with the windows there, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like we probably have that set correctly, or darn close. Yeah, they're set and they're just fine. Okay, back to 3D. When we see it looks pretty good. We have a sill here that looks like we want to pull that sill in on that door. We'll right click on the door and go to sill settings. And we're just going to go here and take that threshold down to 0. And the sill down to 0. And say OK. And that'll pull that in line with those. And that looks right. Okay. So we're going to want to do a shorter version here of those windows, and we're going to stop it here. So we're going to need to take this window and go to its masonry arch and set its left side, which is the right side here, to 7 5/8 inches, and that gets us our overhang there. And we're going to actually, let's see, we'll do like we did the other one and do this one to 7.625. all right, and say OK, and that sends that one like so. And then we're going to suck up the settings and do that to this one, and we've got that correct. And now I'll bet, because these are overlapping like they are, that this isn't set for that 7 5/8. So back to the floor plan, zoom back out a little bit, come over to trying to get to, all right, let's check this out. M 6.5, what do you know? So we've got 1 1/8 inch, and I'll bet you it's the same for this side as well. inch and an eighth. Okay, so we'll take that window, Control D, 1.125, click off of it, click on this one, Control V, 1.125, and you know for sure on this, well, that'll give you a chance to show that. I can take this and drag it just literally doing this, but now here again, this is perfect. Is why I do the Control D. By grabbing what I did right there, I went into the stretch. Okay, now I can hit another icon here and I can move the whole thing. You see both sides moving here, but I had previously been in the stretch mode, and so that put me right in the stretch, and I was ready to go move it. So again, just Control D. I like it. Maybe you will too. 1.125 inches, and we've got that moved correctly. So back to, let's go F3, and let's take one of these, move, drag a copy, and let's just go up here and find its upper corner and in the back. That one right there. Now we're in 3D, so that goes with us three-dimensionally. And I grab that because the point I was going is right there. And then that puts it in correctly. Its height needs to be adjusted. So we'll come down here, zoom in on it. And we're not in the morph tool, so we'll just suck up the settings. That way I get that tool so I can stretch it and bring it up to the bottom, and I just go to a corner so I know I've got the bottom there. And now we can move, multiply. We've got 3 already on there, and we'll bring these over and let's set them to this side. So I'll click on that point, keep the shift key held down, zoom in here, look at that corner, get the check mark, click. Now it took it up to that point, but I'm being held in that direction. So really I want to just come back down to here and click there, and I've got all 3 of them, and they don't look like they're quite in the right spot. Maybe I grabbed the wrong corner. And so what we'll do is just go Control D and zoom in here, and I'm going to grab that back corner, and I'm moving all 3 at the same time, and I'm going to go look for a better corner. Oh, zoomed into the inside. How about that? Keep it in the direction I wanted, and I have to go back down there. Hold the shift key on that X. Okay, now while we're holding the shift key, go up here and see if we can find a hot spot. Gets that intersection point, but let's do that. Yeah, lovely. Just jumped me way over there. Now, this, like I say, this happens. So again, we'll try that and see if we can get lucky. And I think that should be the correct spot there. It looks like it's flush, and I think we've got it. It doesn't. Well, let's go to that floor plan and see what the heck. Apparently our stretch didn't like what we did there. That one's set correctly. These 2 aren't. And I'm just going to look to see if I've got something goofed up and measure that at 2'8". That's 2'8". I just thought possibly had the windows, but okay, so I don't have an explanation. And I think I got that the way we wanted it, right? Okay, looks good. That looks the way I want it, and that looks the way I want it. So the next thing is I want to accomplish that over here. So I'm going to grab, move, drag a copy. I'm just grabbing it, bringing it over here. And I'm going to set it here for the moment. And then, again, don't grab a point, especially with morphs. You got to do the Control D. It'll be one that teaches you for sure. And height-wise, it looks like we got to get a little taller to get up to the top of that. What we'll do, because it's a lot easier to get to the end of that than it is the top of this, I'm going to go Control D, drag that up to here, and then down here I'll just spin and I can get in on the bottom of this a lot easier and pull that down. Pen goes black and I know I'm in the right location. Alright, so now I've got that over here. Looks like we have to do a few things with our soldier coursing, especially in the corner window, but we don't have any on this window. So we'll take that one, we'll do the open the window selection settings, we'll look at our turning on that masonry arch, brick arch, ½ inch, all the same things we had set everywhere else. We want 0 and 0 there, we want it out 1 inch, we want it to be what we know the brick to be, 7.625 and 3.625 inches, and that looks like we got that set straight. And let's go take a look at our surfaces, surface color, the light gray and the black pen, and we've got that, and that should show up correctly, and it does. So this corner window looks like we need to fix that 3D aspect on that masonry arch, and that's under that setting there, and sure enough that needs to be set to that surface color, again the light gray, and our pen at 141, and now we've got that shown correctly. All right, so what we don't have set correctly, I need to get this on an overhang here and have to go back to that, and we want it on this side, opposite of when we're looking at it from the outside. It's the opposite of what we're looking here, so we can either say this is the interior view. Why they would do that, I have no idea. But again, 7.625 inches, and that's good, and we'll enter, and that puts the overhang there. So that, we can bring this over, and it doesn't look like it's high enough either. So now we've got it correctly set, and that way we know that this is just off a bit. You'll learn that as you're seeing, you know, a lot of stuff can be done in 3D, and you'll actually see a lot more and understand things a lot better on settings and so on when you are working in 3D. I love working in 3D. We will do a move, drag a copy here. Just pull that along, hold the shift key. See if we can get that set right. I think we did. Oh, that's right. We need. All right, this window, we need that brick setting on both sides for that arch. Come on, hot spots, where are you? All right, so that's over there, and that's correct. Looks like we have a little discrepancy in heights there. and for some reason we have a different color for our mortar. We'll have to look into that. Looks like this window isn't quite set height-wise. Let's see if we look at it on elevation. And no, we can't see that because it's above the fascia. So F3, and we'll have to come back and figure that out and see why that is. Looks like our sills are the same, but for some reason that isn't. Alright, so we're going to go to floor plan, and the reason I'm going to go to floor plan is I can easily, of course what I want to do is I want to suck up the settings for that corner window and inject them into that corner window, and I want to suck up the settings for that window and again put them into the one in back. Now what we'll do is take this morph, move, drag a copy, and what I'm going to do is take it by that point and bring it over to here, click on there, do a Command E, which is a rotate, click off of that, zoom in a little bit better, Command E, go to that point there and put that in place, and we know it's in the correct heights because we already had it set. With that, we'll take that one and go move, drag a copy, and we'll drag it from this side, that corner, and actually we should have gone with the other one. We want to cancel, move, drag a copy, and I want that corner so that I can just bring it to that corner, and that's done. And then these two, that one and this one, grab the wall too, didn't want that. I want that morph and that morph. Right click in space there and do a move, drag a copy, and I want to grab this side of that morph. We're going to come up here and we have both of them, and if those windows are set the same, which they're supposed to be, and I'm holding this, the shift key, and I put those two on, and I know now those are set in the back as well. So let's look at our front elevation and see if we like what we see. And you know, not bad. I've got one other idea for some infill on this, which I will get to here momentarily. I'd like to make this front elevation projection here of the dining room and bedroom here. I'd like to put in a kind of a herringbone layout in here. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to zoom in here in the morph tool on this elevation. Actually we'll do it in 3D because then I'll know I'm there. In the 2D I may or may not be where I think I am. And I'm going to first click there, just arbitrarily come down there, and I'm going to bring that edge, see if I can bring that edge over to exactly where I want it, which is right there, I believe. And then this one is 90 there. And that obviously did not go the way I wanted. This came out to the outer edge, and then that one went to the inner edge. So we'll back up on both. It looks like when I put it in right from the get-go, it was bad. So we'll just go like this, and now we know we're flat on the surface. And we'll extend that one up to the bottom of that sill. We'll bring this over to the edge, and I'll turn this a little bit so we can see the back edge. I'll turn this again so we can see the top edge. Okay, so now we have that on there, and that's just a skin. So the first thing though I want to do is I want to put my herringbone in, and not the stacked bond. So what I'm going to do here is go up and in the surface settings here, click on this, and I know that what I want is a herringbone layout that I think I've done before, so it might take me a minute here to find it. I know there's a herringbone here, but that's not the one I want because it has a I'll click on it and I'll just show you. Well, take that back. Maybe it does. It didn't give me the right one. You know, I'm gonna, just for the fun of it, go to the front elevation. And I think it gives me a funky, yeah, it does. I don't want that. And I don't want to change that one. And I know there's another setting for that. So I'm going to just, again, see if I can find it there. And if I can't, we'll go at it another way. Thought it might have been under pavers or pavement. And I recall seeing it, but apparently not. So I'm going to see if I can just duplicate this as a, I'm going to click out of that. I'm going to go to Options, Element Attributes, and I'm going to go to Surfaces, and there's that red herringbone. That's the look, and then that's the paving herringbone pattern that I get, which I don't want. Now I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to name it, leave it the same herringbone, but give it some, I'm going to just call it number 2, Roman numeral number 2. I'm going to say OK. And then in this one, I'm going to change, interestingly enough, well, that was what I was looking for. I don't know where that came from. I think maybe because I was working on that in practice session. So hopefully that'll show up if you're following along. But what we did is we went and found that paving herringbone vectorial fill or symbol fill. Maybe that's was our problem. It wasn't showing up because it was set for a symbol fill. And so we'll have that pattern, and you'll see here in a minute because we will change that. And we'll click on this morph and change the morph now to herringbone number 2. And that should give us a different vectorial hatch, but it doesn't. Let's see if it actually changed it. Red herringbone 2, okay, so for some reason, surfaces, all right, red herringbone is this, that's set for paving herringbone. Crazy. Oh, I know what it's got to be. Is, sorry, we're going to change that to the red herringbone 2. Okay, and now I want to change this vectorial hatching. It's set for the paving one. That's not the one we want. We want paving herringbone 8-inch 1:4 ratio. And you'll see now when we do this that this will change, and that's what I wanted. Now, one thing I want to do with it is I want to take it and I want to turn it on a 45. And to do that, we're going to go up to Design, Align 3D Texture, which I can't do here. Got to go to the 3D. So F3 and now I've got it highlighted. I'll go to Design, Align 3D Texture, Set Direction. Click anywhere on it to then say either I want to define it graphically or define it numerically. I'll just do the graphic, but we could hit here and say 45 and it would put it on a 45. We'll say OK. We click here and then I just take it on a 45. So if I want it on any kind of angle, 45 is what I want, and that's the look I get. Now, if I didn't like what I had going on here, and I don't know why I'm seeing a little conflict here maybe of that stretch going down. Oh, I know I haven't pulled it out yet. So now I want to take it and click on it and stretch it out 1 inch. And then we won't get that because it's just a surface. That was just a skin there. When we get different views of it, it just flutters like that. And so you have to give it some kind of thickness. You know, I find inch works. It could be a 1/2 inch. And now I've got this. Now, if I don't like how it starts, you know, I can push this right or left, or I can reset this, you know, the origin. And I'll just simply demonstrate that. Line texture, set origin, and I can go anywhere, and it'll take its basic pattern and start it wherever I click on. If I just go like to this corner, that'll give me that look. And if I wanted to move it up or down, I could. You know, for the moment, you know, do I want the top and bottom to look the same? And right and left looks like right and left is centered up nice, but the up and down, maybe we want to change a little bit. So let's do that and say Design, Set Origin, and we'll just come up a little bit with that, and I'm going to say to about right there, and it just kind of flipped it. It really didn't do what we wanted it to do, so I won't come up quite that much. And that's a lot closer. As they say, good enough for now. Or government work, I think, isn't that the saying? So what we'll do here is we'll drag, we'll go multiply, we'll do 2, say OK, and we'll take that point there and go to there, and we've got, gotta click twice, it's looking for a height too. And we've got that set up. Looks pretty good. We'll take this one and we'll drag it down. Hit that scroll wheel and all of a sudden you're zooming in, zooming out. Okay, so we'll pull this down to here. Doesn't like what I did. Control D. Come on down. I take it to that spot, and then I'm gonna, looks like it's got to come out 1 inch. I'm just gonna grab a corner, drag it in the direction I want it. How about this? We'll go here, Control D, grab that point there and just bring it out to here. All right, and then we'll go in a little bit so we can get that icon to change. Pull it into there like so, and do a right click on that, do move, multiply. We're already set correctly for 2, say OK, and we're going to grab that point there, bring it over to here, and we've got those 2 set twice, and we're in. And that's our look with our herringbone design there. Looks like I dragged that one instead of dragging a copy. So we will move, drag a copy, and get one back over here. And let's look at that front elevation and see how that looks. And you know, that's looking pretty good. we could decide to put that herringbone elsewhere. We might think about that. But for now, I think we got our elevation looking pretty good. We'll take a sneak peek to the rear. I think the only thing I wanted to do on the rear was what I had done over here with the soldier coursing. I wasn't going to repeat it on the rear, just I don't know, maybe for a little differentiation and maybe a little bit from a cost standpoint. I'm not sure either one of those are valid reasons. And maybe my daughter will say, no, we want to repeat that over there too, Dad. So, but that we could do what we did on the front there very easily. So anyhow, that's the rear, and we'll look at the left side. And again, the only thing we really did there was put those stack bonds on either side of the windows. Again, one could make a case for continuing that design theme, maybe even to that front window there. That probably would make some sense. And then the right side, we have the garage doors and then the other windows on that wall. So we'll contemplate those additional soldier or stack bonds. But for now, we'll leave you with this elevation. And oh, and just so you know what we've done here is now updated. If we go over to our layouts over here and we go look at elevations and we click on that, those, as you see, are updating, and you'll have the latest and greatest versions on your sheets of paper ready to go. You can set that to automatically do that, and you can set it also to temporarily, or you have to do it manually. But either way. Anyway, that's it for this video. Sorry a few things took a little longer, but I'll go back, take a look at it, and we'll see if we want to publish this one. Thanks for watching.